Hello guys, I hope you're doing well. Here is another Python practice using Dynamo. Beforehand, I'd like to say if you hear or see errors, that's because I'm in the try tutorial and learning phase. So beforehand, I would like to apologize for that. In this video, actually, I use random library to place two different instances in a grid. I use also a loop to create a grid. This script can be adapted to place like single foundations and columns, not only in X and Y directions, but also on the other levels. In Dynamo itself, I use out-of-box nodes, and Python script itself is a fairly simple script. I hope my exploration in Python scripting would be helpful. Let's dive in and explore some line of language programming with Python. Alright, I have imported two families, generic families here, 0 and 1. Let me find them, 0 and 1. And we are gonna place them in a grid. Actually, this is 0 and this one is 1. All right, let's check the unit of the Revit space. Yes, set it to centimeters. All right, and now we can start with Dynamo. I'm gonna bring out Python script. We need basically to import those families inside Dynamo, right? So I'm gonna say with a code block saying that we have number 1 and 0, and there's an out-of-box node family type dot I think this is the one we are looking for. I think so, yes. The family name and the type is the same, right? So I'm gonna wire this to family name and family and type name. Let me do this one for the other one. Okay, let me uncheck it to manual. All right, we need 3 inputs. The very first one is the first family, the second one, and then we need the level. And let's set it to level 0. Now we can start editing our Python script. Let me bring this up to here. All right. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave the first ones as it is. I'm gonna start with importing another libraries and references. In this case, I'm gonna add Revit nodes. And from this one, we can actually add the Revit space, which is Revit elements, and import family instance. All right. And the other important reference that we need to add is the Revit services. So I'm gonna say from Revit services dot persistence import document manager, and again from Revit services dot transactions import transaction manager. Here we need this one. All right. Now since we are going to use a random function, I'm gonna import a random library. Okay, just like that. And now we can say with this line that I'm gonna use this instance, this session of Revit from the available ones. So I'm gonna say document manager dot instance dot current database document. All right, now we can actually determine our inputs, which I can name them like fam type 1 and without a space because we need them as a string. So and this is our first input, and let me copy this one here and make it 1 family 2 and level we're gonna have as our third input. All right, so we are dealing with more than one family instances, so we need a kind of list here. Let me make some space here. So I'm gonna say output equals an empty list. From now we can start our transaction. So I'm gonna say transaction manager dot instance dot ensure in transaction or document. Transaction manager, ensure transaction, right. Okay, so now we are gonna define our distances and our grids. So I'm gonna name our grids like grid underscore size underscore in the x direction equals, let me make it 100, and let me copy this one here and make it epsilon always 100, and the spacing between each point in the x direction I'm gonna make it 3, and in the epsilon I'm gonna make it 6. So to create a grid we need a loop function actually, and to create x, y directions, we need to use loop inside loop. So for that reason, I'm gonna say for x, and I'm gonna use a range. All right, x in range. As a parameters, it needs, I'm gonna start with the point 0, and it asks for the grid size and actually the value of spacing between each point. This is how we create range. And then we need another loop for the y direction in range, and as a parameter, I'm gonna start always at 0, and I'm gonna bring this parameter here, and the spacing between each one. Actually, this should be y. So now let me define our random. I'm gonna name it fam type equal random dot, I close this one, random dot choice, and as a parameter looks for family type 1 and 2. And then now we can actually use this function here that can randomize our family instances. I'm gonna say x plus random dot uniform, and as a parameters I'm gonna say 0 0. We can use this one for the other direction. All right, now we can place our family instances. So I'm gonna name this function place equals point dot by coordinates, the second one, and as an argument asks for these two parameters, these two variables actually. This one, and for the z direction we're gonna set it to 0. And let's name it call. We are gonna place actually we are gonna use the classes to place our families on these points, right? So we are gonna say family instance dot by point and level. I hope I type it right. I think so. Right. And as a parameter, it says our family type, the points that need to place them on, and the level, which we have it here as a third input. Now the created families and placed instances need to be added inside our list. So for that reason, we are going to say output dot append call. I don't know why I name it call, but let's leave it as it is. Now we can close our transaction, so we don't need indentation here. I'm gonna say transaction manager dot instance dot transaction task done. All right, and as always, we need our output here. Our output is a list of our family instances that we placed. So the out is the our list of outputs. All right, I think we've got all of our lines here. Let me save it. And we wire up all the nodes here, and let's start running the Dynamo. Okay. Let me see. Python validator, valid failed, indentation, doesn't match any other indentation level. Let me see. Yes, I misspelled it here. Transaction manager, an instant, transaction, task done. All right, now interesting. Yes, we don't need indentation here in the loop. Line 12. From Revit services, yes, I messed up the spell it here. Transactions, transaction manager. All right. It's a normal process to actually get rid of the errors. Line number 20. That should be level. Actually, it's not. It's this. It's our third, but as an index is number 2. Okay. Let's see. Okay. It seems to be working. Here we go. Actually, we have our matrix of these families, 0 and 1, and as you can see here, we randomize them inside the grid. That's really helpful for the placement of the columns actually on a grid if you need it, and it was just a practice to use random function. Thank you so much for watching.